Hey everyone, so it's been exactly 1 month. The iPhone 17 Pro, and for the last 30 days, this silver model has been my one and only, my main daily driver. And I really wanted to talk about it because my journey to this phone is, I think, pretty specific. I'm coming from the iPhone 15 Pro. I skipped the iPhone 16 Pro entirely. I was waiting for a real reason to upgrade. And honestly, I am so glad I waited. Because the jump from the 15 Pro to the 17 Pro, it is not just another small incremental update. For me, this has been a significant upgrade. So I know a lot of you, especially if you're on a 15 Pro right now or maybe an older Pro, you're asking that same exact question. Is this the one? Is this actually worth the money? After a full month, I can tell you for me, and especially for what I do as a content creator, the answer is 1000% yes. But there are some major things you need to know before you buy. So today we're gonna cover everything. We're talking about this new design and this interesting new material. We'll cover the performance, the insane new thermal management, which is a game changer for me, the battery, and this new camera system, which, wow. And of course, we have to talk about Scratchgate. Let's get into it. What was so special at launch? So when this phone was first announced, it felt like Apple's whole focus kind of shifted. For the last few years, the Pro iPhone was all about the materials. You had that heavy, shiny fingerprint magnet stainless steel on 14 Pro and older. Then you had the fancy premium brushed titanium on the 15 and 16 Pro. This year though, the story wasn't really the outside of the phone. The big news was all internal. Apple's whole press release was talking about the A19 Pro, a dramatic leap in performance, and for the first time ever in an iPhone, an Apple-designed vapor chamber. They were talking about heat management, sustained performance, and new camera sensors. It felt like they were finally making a Pro phone for actual Pro users and creators, not just for people who wanted the shiniest new thing. And after a month, I can tell you they nailed it. Okay, so let's start with the design. And you have to start with this thing, this new camera plateau. When I first saw the leaks, I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was weird. I mean, really weird. But after using it for a month, I honestly love it. I don't know if it's just me. Let me know in the comments. But I saw someone with a 15 Pro the other day and that old camera bump, it just looked old all of a sudden. This new plateau design, it feels new, it feels different. It does a surprising amount to make the phone feel special. The other big change, of course, is the size. This is a 6.3-inch display, up from the 6.1-inch on my 15 Pro. And you guys know, if you follow this channel, I am a compact phone person. I was really worried about this. But the bezels are so incredibly thin that the phone, it barely feels bigger in the hand. And what really helps is the new, more rounded side. My 15 Pro was pretty comfortable, but this 17 Pro, with these more rounded aluminum edges, it just melts into your hand. It is so comfortable to hold and to operate. And that display, it's the brightest one Apple's ever made. 3000 nits peak brightness. What that means in the real world is you are never struggling to see it. It's just a gorgeous ProMotion display. Alright, but let's talk about the material. This is the big controversy. Apple ditched the titanium from the 15 and 16 Pro and went back to aluminum. And I totally agree with what a lot of you are saying. When you hold this 17 Pro next to a 15 or 16 Pro, the titanium just feels denser. It feels more premium, So yes, this phone feels a little less premium than the titanium one, but this is not a downgrade. It's a trade-off. And it's a trade-off I am more than happy to make. And we're gonna get to why in just a second. But first, we have to talk about Scratchgate. You've all seen the videos, the forum posts, phones getting chipped and scuffed right out of the box, especially those cosmic orange and deep blue models. So here's the deal. Based on all the testing I've seen from, Jerry Rig Everything and others, the phone itself is incredibly strong. That unibody aluminum is a tank. It adds the bend test, no problem. The problem isn't the aluminum, it's the anodized coating on the sharp 90-degree corners of that new camera plateau. It's just a known thing in material science. Anodizing hates sharp corners. It just doesn't stick as well as it does to a curve. So on those beautiful colored models like the deep blue, a little bump against your keys can chip that color right off, exposing the bright silver aluminum underneath. And there were even those weird reports of the cosmic orange one turning pink. And that right there is exactly why I got this silver one. I mean, first, just look at it. It's minimalist, it's elegant, it looks good with any case or with no case, but the real reason aluminum is, well, it's silver. When this phone gets a scratch or a chip on the edge, it exposes silver aluminum. It's a scratch that's the same color as the phone. You can't see it. It is the lowest anxiety, most durable color you can get this year, hands down. Okay, so why did Apple switch to aluminum? This right here. This is the #1 reason this phone is such a significant upgrade for me. That unibody aluminum frame is laser welded to a brand new vapor chamber. And that system, it basically turns the entire phone into one giant super efficient heatsink. My iPhone 15 Pro, look, I love that phone, but that thing was a toaster. I'm not kidding. It would get warm just setting it up. This iPhone 17 Pro, when I did the initial setup, transferring all my apps and data, I kept touching it, waiting for it to get warm, and it just didn't. It stayed cool. And for my work as a creator, this is the game changer. I shoot a ton of video. The other day I was outside in the sun recording in the new 4K 120 FPS mode, which is an insane amount of data. My 15 Pro would have been screaming hot. It would have dimmed the screen, it would have throttled the performance, and it probably would have just stopped. This 17 Pro, it got warm. That's it. Just warm, never hot. That vapor chamber is just pulling all that heat away from the A19 chip, and the unibody is just radiating it out. If you're a gamer, if you shoot long videos, if you live in a hot climate, this is not an incremental upgrade. This is a fundamental change in how you can actually use your phone. The performance is finally sustained. And that performance, let's talk about that A19 Pro chip, because it's just insane. I ran Geekbench 6 on my phone, and here are my scores. I got a 3822 on single core and a 9848 on multi-core. Now, let's put that in perspective for a second. That multi-core score, that is higher than the M2 chip in the iPad Pro. This phone in my pocket has a faster CPU than a Pro desktop level chip from just a couple years ago. But the CPU isn't even the craziest part. The GPU, what Geekbench calls metal, that's where things get wild. The A19 Pro's GPU is showing like a 40% jump over last year's A18 Pro, and its scores are basically identical to the 10-core M2 GPU. I'm not even a huge mobile gamer, but for pro tasks, for running on-device AI, for processing that 4K 120 FPS video, having M2 level graphics in your pocket is just, it's a different league. And the best part, because of that vapor chamber, these aren't just peak scores you see for 30 seconds. This is performance you can actually use. Okay, quick update on battery life. After 1 full month, my battery health is of course still at 100%. But the key stat is this, 17 cycle counts. A cycle is 1 full 100 to 0 drain. That means in 30 days of me using this as my main phone, I've averaged just over half a cycle per day. That is wild, especially for my heavy use. It just backs up what all the tests are saying. This phone, thanks to that bigger battery and the efficient A19, has the best battery life ever in a Pro iPhone. It's the first Pro iPhone I have ever owned that I have zero battery anxiety with. Okay, so for me as a creator, this is the other huge jump. The cameras. Apple calls it a triple 48 megapixels fusion system. The main lens, the ultra wide, and the telephoto, they are all 48 megapixels now. And this is why the zoom is so good. I know some people missed the 5x zoom from the 16 Pro, but I love the 4x telephoto on this. It's just a more usable focal length for me. But because that 4x lens has a 48 megapixel sensor, Apple can do a 2x crop on it and give you a 12 megapixel 8x optical quality zoom. And it is optical quality, it's not that old mushy digital zoom. It's a clean 12 megapixel shot from the center of that giant sensor. So now in my camera app, I have a 0.5x, a 1x, a 2x, a 4x, and an 8x lens. And all of them look incredible. It's like having a bag full of prime lenses in my pocket. And then for video, 4K at 120 frames per second. I mean, finally, the slow motion I can get from this in full 4K it's a professional tool. I've been using it constantly. But honestly, the most fun and the most functionally awesome upgrade might be the front camera. It has a new 18 megapixel center stage square sensor. What does that mean? It means I can hold my phone vertically like I'm taking a normal selfie, and I tap a button and it shoots a wide landscape video. No more awkward one-handed sideways phone fumble. It just works. It's brilliant. It's so simple and it's so good. And I guarantee you every Android phone is going to copy this next year. Oh, and there's a new dual capture mode so you can film with the front and back cameras at the same time. It's fun, for vlogging or getting reaction shots, but that new front camera, that's the revolution. So what are the downsides? What do you really need to consider? Honestly, it all comes back to that Scratchgate thing. This is the first Pro iPhone in a long time where I feel like I have to warn you about the finish. The unibody aluminum is a softer material than the titanium on the 15 or 16 Pro, and those sharp corners on the camera plateau will chip if you get a colored model and you try to go caseless. You're making a trade-off. You're trading cosmetic durability for thermal performance. For me, that's an easy trade, but you have to go in with your eyes open. My only other consideration is just the size. It's 6.3 inches. I've gotten used to it, and those rounded edges make it feel great, but if you are a true small phone lover, this is another step in the wrong direction. So after 1 month, here's my final word. Should you buy or upgrade to the iPhone 17 Pro? If you're coming from an iPhone 16 Pro, honestly, probably not. But if you are like me and you're using an iPhone 15 Pro or a 14 Pro or anything older, yes, this is the one. This is not an incremental update. The 15 Pro was a phone with amazing peak performance, but it was held back by real-world heat and battery problems. The 17 Pro fixes all of that. That new thermal system is not a gimmick. It unlocks all the power of that A19 Pro chip. The battery life, 16 cycles in a month, it's incredible. And for me as a creator, that camera system with the 8x optical quality zoom, the 4K 120 FPS video, and that amazing new front-facing camera, it's a huge leap forward. This is the first Pro iPhone in a long time that feels functionally different from the year before. It feels like a true Pro tool, and I am so glad I made the jump. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think down in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching.